We have Ezekiel saying, I made a choice that I can live with. Probably again, referring back to leading his group to getting slaughtered and saying that I've come to terms with what I did, because if we triumph, if we're victorious, then it's going to mean freedom for a lot of people, and maybe it's worth it. And then we have this interesting shot of Jadis that I was talking about, sitting in the up, as she likes to call it, and she's looking down, most likely looking down at all of her people as walkers. Now, she's not dressed the same. She only has like her gown that she was wearing before as well. I don't know what happened. Maybe Simon stripped her of her clothes or something, but she doesn't look so good. And as we will see in the next shot, she begins crying. She gets very emotional. Now, we do see some blood there, as you can see here and here. So this might just be the blood of her people when they were shot down by Simon. Very interested to see what happens with Simon and the Heapsters and what leads to this moment here and what Jadis is going to do now.
Choice I could live with.
This is the exact same shot of Jadis getting very emotional. Now I can't feel sorry for her. She has done various shady things, so I don't feel a slight bit of sorriness for her. I don't know, it might just be me, but she had it coming. We have this shot of Rick. Now this might be at Alexandria, might be at Hilltop, but there's definitely a grave there. It might be Carl's grave. It might be either Glenn or Abraham's grave if they're at Hilltop.
I have to take them and take them.
We have Carol talking to someone. It seems like she's talking to that member of the kingdom that has the scarf, the hijab, and she's saying, if we have to take them, you take them. So maybe this is part of their plan to get Ezekiel out, and maybe Carol is saying, if it gets to a point where we have to take them down, you can do it, you can put them down, or you do it, or something like that. But basically motivating her to help. We have Morgan and Carol. They're obviously back at Kingdom, and they're kind of watching someone, most likely Gavin and Ezekiel.
Versus all of them, they don't stand a chance.
We have the same girl that I was talking about, the member of the Kingdom, saying, you versus all of them, they don't stand a chance. Obviously talking to Carol, which is very interesting. It's definitely true, but it's very interesting. But we have some people in the back. I think they're Kingdom members. I don't think they're saviors. So there could be some members of Kingdom still there to help Carol and Morgan break Ezekiel out.
Don't stand a chance.
We have Carol here shooting the saviors. I think she's shooting Gavin. We do see at a later scene that there's going to be some sort of explosion, so maybe Carol is also responsible for that. That's the scene I was talking about with the explosion. Gavin was there, Ezekiel was there, and as we can see, this might be Ezekiel's chance to try to break free. As we see here, he kind of ducks down and tries to escape. We have this scene here. This is definitely at the Heapster area in the junkyard. Michonne is also there, Rick is there, and they're basically entering the main entrance that they have at the junkyard. And this is definitely connected to the other scene that I was talking about with Rick and Michonne trying to get away from the walkers or the Heapsters that have turned into walkers. We have this shot of Eugene here and one of Negan's wives. Now, I think this is back in the bullet manufacturing factory that they found. I don't think this is the sanctuary. There is this machine in the back here that I do believe I did see in the bullet making factory. So I think that they take Eugene there in order to make the bullets. As we saw in the other teaser, Eugene is looking at a bullet, so he's definitely making a bullet or making bullets for Negan and the Saviors. So this scene is definitely connected to that. Now, Eugene looks very surprised, not sure why that might be. He might be looking at something he did working. We have Negan talking to someone, most likely Simon, saying if we kill Rick, everything is going to be aces. So saying we kill Rick, everything is going to go back to normal. And one thing I want to say, that's most likely before the other Saviors get there with the coffin. And this might be connected to the very first shot that we saw in this same teaser. We have this shot here of Negan with Lucille in front of the Saviors with the walkers chained to the fence. Now, something is interesting here. I don't know if this is a flashback or not. I think this could definitely be a flashback. This could even be connected to explaining how the saviors were able to get away from the sanctuary. And also, it could be part of the storyline that comes from the comics where Negan is trying to show the saviors how to weaponize the tools that they have with the walkers. Now, another interesting thing, if we pay very close attention, we can see Dwight here. This is Dwight. So, that's very interesting. Does he make it back? Does he get to Laura before she gets to the saviors and Negan and tells them about Dwight? Or is this a flashback? I think it's definitely possible that this is a flashback scene because Dwight is wearing something that's different than what he was wearing when he was in the sewers. We have Rick driving and saying they have weapons. People, not sure who he's referring to. Maybe the saviors, maybe the heapsters. But then we have this very interesting shot of Michonne. Then we have this shot that I was talking about, which is very interesting. Simon in the junkyard pointing the gun at Tamiel, I believe. Now I think Tamiel might be the first person to go. This might be the first person Simon shoots. Jadis doesn't back down. And then Simon, other saviors, end up killing everyone. We have this shot of Rosita killing the walkers in the swamp. Carol and Morgan shooting some saviors. This is definitely at Kingdom. As we see later on here, this is definitely the auditorium. We see the background here. So this is definitely the auditorium at the Kingdom. Carol and Morgan are killing some saviors. We have another shot of Morgan here. We have Morgan telling Carol we can do this one by one. We have this other shot of Morgan again. Again, this is back at Kingdom. We have this shot of Hilltop. You can see Maggie there. There is someone here. This might be Siddiq. I think Siddiq is wearing the same exact outfit. Could be Siddiq. But it's difficult to tell if this is before the survivors get there or afterwards. We have Dwight talking to Tara here, saying, I chose my side, now I'm here. So basically saying that I have chosen that I don't want to be with the saviors now. I've selected my side. Now, I don't think he has a choice. He can't go back because Laura knows. Now, we don't know whether she makes it back or not. Two things I want to mention. Right after this is probably when Tara is going to point the gun to Dwight's head, just like we saw in the other teaser. But also, Dwight is wearing something very different than what he was wearing when we saw him in the other part, where he was with Negan and the Saviors. He was wearing something brown there, but he's wearing something blue here. So that is one clue that could be a flashback scene. We have Maggie here. She looks kind of surprised. Not exactly sure what she's looking at. Maybe she's looking at Carl. Maybe that's where she finds out that Carl has been bit. We have another part of Dwight's conversation with Tara saying, I'm here to help kill Negan. We have this very interesting shot of Father Gabriel. He is pointing the gun at someone. I don't know if this is at the sanctuary or not. It's most likely afterwards when he escapes. Maybe this is Hilltop, but he doesn't look so good. If you look, his eyes are all red. So maybe Father Gabriel is not going to make it. Maybe he's going to die because he's not looking so good. We have this shot of Rick shooting at people. Not sure if he's shooting at walkers or saviors. I don't even know where this is. It might be at a savior outpost. We have Negan talking through the walkie-talkie, obviously talking to Rick, saying, you set the course, now who's next? Basically saying who's next to die. Maybe this is where Rick tells Negan that Carl is dead. Obviously this is at the sanctuary because of the background here. We have this very interesting shot of a sniper shooting some of the guards there. This is what leads me to think that we're going to see a flashback even further than what I've already discussed. So this is a flashback to the moment when Daryl and Tara drove the truck into the wall of the sanctuary and let the walkers in. Obviously, we know that the Saviors killed many of the snipers, but Morgan survived. This is probably a POV shot of what Morgan is seeing. shooting the saviors as they're shooting the truck. So it looks like they're definitely playing with time, and we will definitely see some sort of flashback. Then we have this shot here of Morgan. This gives us more confirmation that we're going to get another flashback type of scene where we will go back to the moment the saviors escaped and seeing how they might have escaped. We have this shot of Rick talking through the walkie-talkie to Negan, saying, "I'm gonna kill you." And this could be connected to the whole scene with Rick reading the letter Carl wrote him, getting emotional.
I'm gonna kill you.
We have this very interesting shot of Negan hitting one of the walkers in the head with Lucille. This is obviously connected to the other scene where we had all of the saviors looking at Negan in front of the fence with the walkers chained to it. We have this interesting shot of Enid and Aaron. Aaron is hugging Enid. Enid is crying, very emotional. So two things we can tell from this. One, Aaron and Enid make it out of Oceanside, so they're gonna get away from there. Not sure if the Oceanside is just gonna let him go after Enid accidentally killed Netanya, or if they're gonna escape. But they're definitely gonna make it out. And Enid crying here could be her reaction to killing Netanya, or it could be her finding out that Carl has been bit. And maybe she runs away, maybe Aaron goes and finds her and basically talks to her. Because we do note that those two characters did connect. It's not out of question to assume that if Enid runs away, Aaron is going to be the one to go after her.
I stop people from dying.
We have this shot of Michonne. This could be her reaction to seeing Alexandria like that, or it could be her reaction to Carl being bit and about to die.
I am the answer.
We have a very interesting dialogue from Negan saying, "I stop people from dying. I am the answer," which is very cool, very iconic of the type of character Negan is. He thinks he's the answer. He thinks that he's the guy. So definitely interested to know who he's talking to, most likely Rick, but very interested to see that.
The answer.
We have this interesting shot of Carl taking his hat off. Not sure if this is before or after the reveal came in, or the moment the reveal came in, but very interested to see what they do with Carl in this next episode.
My mom died. She told me that I was gonna beat this world.
Says right before Mom died, she said that I was gonna beat this world.
You will.
And then saying, "You will." Now it's very interesting. We have this shot of Rick looking kind of confused, kind of emotional. So this could be right before that specific scene we saw with Rick crying. But Carl saying that "you are" could be talking to Rick, obviously, but it could be from the letter. He could have written that letter for his little sister, for Judith, and saying that you're the person that can beat this world. You're the one that's going to be the last survivor, which gives confirmation that maybe Judith is going to replace Carl's story in the show. And that's basically the end of this trailer here. Very interesting trailer, some very interesting things that we could get from this. It definitely hypes me for the second half of the season. I hope that it's better than the first half. It seems like it might be. There's a lot of small little things that I'm definitely very interested to see. And even just seeing the end of this storyline is going to be very cool. I'm definitely looking forward to that. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.